Second.
Okay, I'm here to talk to you tonight about pre-production, making a record. There's some basic steps to making an actual real record, and to me those steps have to be followed. They're fundamentals. But pre-production is the most important thing to get right, because without that, everything's just like a domino effect. It just goes to absolute shit, you know. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about the steps, what I think are the steps, and how I do it. Okay, number one. Number one, do we have the songs to make a record? Do we have the jammy jam? When I worked for Island Def Jam, that was our saying. Do they have the song? Uh, the song? Well, you metal bands and even you gangster rap guys. I mean, that's not going to be y'all's deal. But it's important to have the key, like fundamental direction of the record. And that's what I call the jammy jam and those kind of records. But anyway, the songs are the most important first step to know that you have. Number two. Number two is the actual song arrangements and the actual basics of the song. With this is the transitions, the starts, the stops, the keys of the songs. If you're going to do a record, if every song's in the same key, which I hear all the time, bugs the absolute hell out of me. It's like the reason why a lot of records sound like it all has the same, it's all the same song, is because it is pretty much all the same song. So watch your keys of your song, you know, and the order of the songs. All that stuff matters. It's like it's really the secret to making a piece of art rather than just a self-indulgent piece of shit. So anyway, so back to the songs. Number three, here's an important step. Your band and the fundamentals. I don't know anybody out there that can email me and tell me that they remember a football team winning the Super Bowl without knowing how to get in a proper stance. A 3-point stance, 4-point stance, or whatever. If you don't know the fundamentals, then you're already beat as a band, as an artist. Now, as a solo artist, it's just arrangement. It's like I hear all these solo artists and they got these loud acoustic guitars and you can't even hardly hear their voice. I saw a young man the other night, very gifted young man on Instagram, and he was playing a song that probably was pretty good if you could hear his voice. He's just beating away on the guitar. The fundamentals. All that stuff matters when you're making a record. Okay, so here's the next thing. The next thing is leadership. Okay. A democratic record is probably not going to be a record that does very good. In other words, if everybody in the band is voting on something or a part or throwing in their 2 cents, yes, ideas and changes and stuff as a band is incredible and it's very, very, very necessary, but there has to be a last say. Has to be a guy that's the leader. He's the General Patton or the freaking General MacArthur or whatever. Has to be a guy that doesn't call the shots, but is the last decision. Without that guy being in a room, you have an absolute disaster of a record, and it's never going to work. I don't care what anyone says. It's just the truth. It's just the way you humans are. So, number four, or is that number five? But being in shape for the record. Okay, so being in shape for the record, that means if you do pre-production for 2 hours a day, I mean, how are you going to be ready to record in the studio for 12 hours at a time? Being in shape is like, I would start out doing 8-hour days, beating it up for 8 hours, going at it for 8 hours. That's rehearsing, making sure the drum grooves are there, making sure every single hi-hat hit, every single cymbal, all those things, man, are where you want them to be. And I could get into all that, but I won't get in depth. But that is so important because not the singer delivering a message is what you want to get across. That's why he's a singer. So you're going to be touring all over the place, playing these songs to people and delivering a message to them, right? So if you're going to do that, do it in the right way. Write all your arrangements out. first verse, a first pre-chorus, a first chorus, a second intro, second verse, second B section. Write all that stuff out because it matters. If it looks right on paper, it probably sounds right when you listen to it. If it doesn't look right on paper and the thing looks lopsided, let's say after the bridge the song ends, you probably have a problem because the bridges lead. They're what leads to the next part of the song. They're a transition that makes you cross the bridge to get to the other side. Hence, that's why they're called bridges. So anyway, all those things are very necessary. A producer, I would say, would be another thing that I would put on my list. If you're producing it yourself, I'm not saying it can't happen. You can produce it yourself. I wouldn't do that, but that's me. And if I did produce it myself, I would definitely send it to. If you've done a few records and you've already gotten a major label deal, well, then you're not even watching this video anyway. I would get a producer that knows what he's doing, get a mixer that knows what he's doing. Do everything the right way. Do pre-production the right way. Don't do pre-production by yourself because you're doing. Yes, you can do pre-production by yourself if you're producing it yourself, but if you're producing it yourself, then you better make sure you have a great leader, and that great leader better be a guy who everybody hates. Because if all you are buddies, guess what? You're gonna buddy yourself into not doing shit. I promise you. I promise you. There has to be that asshole that freaking is the man who says no. And that's the man everybody hates. If you got that guy, you're probably doing pretty good and you're probably in the right band. So anyway, so here's the last, this is the last step for me is that I can think of is the place to do pre-production. The actual place to do pre-production. Okay. No matter what, that factor will factor into how your record comes across. Where the songs are created, where the songs are arranged, how they came about. In the middle of pre-production, there's nothing wrong with all of a sudden a great song comes up and you start working on that. Don't be ADD and be all over the place, but you know what? Don't sit there and dodge a great idea. Grab a hold of it while you can and grab it, okay? Because a lot of places, the location of your pre-production is going to depend, like everybody goes, oh, those songs come from my heart. No, they don't. I got news for you. They don't. Songs are floating through the air. They are floating everywhere. And that's the reason why the man who can catch them and grab them out of the air and put them into vibration and bring them across, those are the guys who win. Barry Hill, this is a great example. How many songs have been written in this place? The reason why this place is special, the reason why it's so easy to create here is because it's been done. It's a century almost now. So the location of where you pre-produce is just as important as the location of where you record. I would say more important than where you record. And if you record in the same spot, I'm not saying it can't happen. I've done pre-production in this room and recorded and had some great things happen, but it wasn't nearly as good as if I'd have been in a rehearsal hall and had brought the band here and we'd have done it the right way. But bands, they want to cut corners and do things fast. Stop being the McDonald's generation. This is not fast food. This is something that takes time. It's something that's a piece of art that people are going to hear from now for eternity. So do you really want it to be half-assed? So if you're going to get it right in pre-production before you move to the next step. That's the recording step. And that I'll talk to you about some other time. But there you go. Good luck doing pre-production. I hope you have a good time, and I hope you take my advice, and I hope you're a winner.